Do not fall into these trap, fellas. So 2 years on semen retention. I have recently relapsed after, I think I'm coming up to a 4-month streak. And I've got to the point where now I do have to mention that I no longer track the days. I'm not like, I've got a PB and a personal best. And I think that's just toxic. I mean, if you're looking at it like that, then you might as well just be looking at it as like another workout at the gym. Tracking your PBs and trying to get your personal best. I mean, it becomes a competition then. Competition isn't healthy in this sense. When you're playing with your life force and your sexual energy, it shouldn't be competitive. You should be aligned with a deeper purpose that you're doing this because you understand the benefits and you understand what it's going to be doing for your life, and you want to be better. You want to master your sexual discipline. You want to be in control of this life force energy, and you want to use this for good. If you're using this just to get a PB or get a streak, then that's just pure ego and competition to try and validate your own self-worth. So watch out for that trap firstly, but that's not what I'm going to be speaking about today. What I'm going to be speaking about is believing that once you get to a certain phase on your semen retention journey and you start to get a handle on this energy and you start to recognize women looking at you, you recognize that you're feeling less drawn or less pulled to pursue women. You're feeling a lot more sovereign in your energy. You're feeling like you no longer feel drawn to masturbating or porn. You can go days and weeks without even thinking about it sometimes. If you are in this phase, there's a trap that you can fall into. And I think everyone needs to be aware of this, because I think a lot of what the community is built upon is this, what I'm going to be speaking about today. And what I'm going to be speaking about today is sexual repression. Semen retention can become very toxic when we begin to repress our sexual desires. We won't know whether we're repressing our sexual desires until the spring pops back up and we manifest chaos into our life. And I'm speaking on this now based off experience, because this is exactly what I did. I believe I'd overcome lust. I didn't care about women. I weren't looking at women. I have no drive to pursue them. Like, my lust was burnt out. I thought it took me 2 years, and I was genuinely convinced that. But that was the mind telling me that I had burnt out lust, when in reality, I just suppressed the sexual desire. So if you're isolated, you're not looking at women, you're not surrounded by women, you've not got any temptation to pursue women, you're choosing not to think about women, so you're focusing your attention elsewhere, which is good. But over time, if you're denying, because there's a difference between acknowledging it and you choosing to transmute it, which is what we should be doing. But if you're acknowledging it and denying it, and then trying to mask that with a story, telling yourself that, well, I don't care about women, I'm returning, I'm celibate, I mean, I'm powerful, I don't care about these women, there's no pull, there's no attraction anymore, I've overcome lust. If your mind's telling yourself these stories, that's repression. And that is eventually going to manifest into negative habits, tendencies, behaviours, destructive behavioural patterns. You're going to end up being angry and snappy and reactive. This is how it's going to manifest. Now, you're going to feel a heightened of energy anyway, because your testosterone is going to be ramped up and your energy is going to be increased. But if you're not transmuting that energy and you're looking at it like, right, I have an extra surge of energy now, how can I channel this? This is the question you want to be asking yourself every single day. Not how do I deny it? And I know you're not going to say that to yourself, but that's basically what's happening. How do I ignore it and deny it? When it comes up, just ignore and completely dismiss the fact that I am having sexual urges and I do feel like ripping this woman's clothes off. But instead, I'm going to tell myself that I'm not. I'm going to deny it and tell myself that I'm not even bothered until I'm not bothered. And yeah, that'll work for some part. It worked for me for a very long time. I managed to live off that mindset, and I managed to thrive in that mindset. I'm not saying it doesn't work, it does, but I'm saying it is only temporary and it will only last until that energy gets contained and suppressed so much until it just explodes and causes destruction in your life. And it will do that. I mean, it's think a bit like a spring. You hold a spring down for too long, boop, eventually it's going to pop back up. All right. So you need to be very wary of this. So how do you then, you're probably going to ask the question is, all right, okay, then how do I not suppress this energy, but then utilize the energy to then transmute into my hobbies, my passions, my craft, my creative endeavors, my work, relationships, whatever that looks like for you? How do I do that? So what I recognize is, firstly, recognize the urge when it comes. Firstly, acknowledge and accept that the fact that you are still drawn to women, you are still thinking and desiring about sex, because this is fine. This is your rawest of primal instincts. You cannot deny this. Like, you cannot deny the fact that you get the impulse, you get the urge. You still think about women. You still stop. You scroll every now and again on Instagram when you see a beautiful woman, like, ooh, and then you might tell yourself off for, oh no, keep scrolling. I'm not meant to be doing that. If it's from this mindset, if you recognize in yourself, you're saying like, I'm not meant to be doing that, or I shouldn't be doing this. No, I'm retaining, so I can't do that. I shouldn't do this. That's suppression. If it's coming from that language. What that looks alternatively is telling yourself, yeah, that woman is beautiful. I do feel an impulse or a desire to have sex with her, but instead I'm going to choose to channel and transmute this elsewhere because I choose to honor my life force rather than give it away. So you can admire beautiful women. You can even flirt with them. If you're at a certain level, I have a little flirt every now and again. It's good fun. And it gets the creative energy going. I know that I'm not going to give this to this woman because I've already made that decision in myself. But I recognize the surge of energy when I flirt with them, and I'll be playful with that energy. Because you're playful, not exactly playful with a woman, you're being playful with the energy, the sexual energy that is flowing between you both. And if you can use that to channel that, so you can be a bit playful, and then you just you back off. You take a step back, and then you recognize the energy within you and you circulate that. You can do that through breathwork techniques, or just go and do some movement and shift your focus and attention. So when you get an urge and you recognize, right, I want to fuck this woman now. I have to admit that. You need to admit that to yourself. You can't deny it. Say that you don't care and you're not bothered when you are deep down. You got to listen to the subtleties. It's never just the mind will tell you something else. But you got to listen to, you got to feel, you got to really feel it at the deepest core. And if you are still getting them urges and them temptations, you need to accept that, honor that, and then say, right, okay, I acknowledge that I do want it, but I'm choosing not to. I'm not going to act on that. I'm not going to let that urge drive me. What else can I channel this energy into right now? Because that's all it is. It's energy. Whether you want to look at it as it's a sexual fantasy or you've got an urge to pursue something, regardless of what it is just energy. So once you get the ability to transmute that energy rather than suppress it, that's when you start to create magic. And this is where semen retention then becomes really, really beneficial and transformative into your life. But you do first need to go through this phase of trying to suppress it and repress this energy, to recognize that it's never going to work for you. No matter how long you suppress this energy, or trying to dismiss the fact that you do still lust over women and you are still getting horny at times over scrolling on Instagram, or you're just getting aroused over just the basic things. The more you try and suppress and deny it, the more it's going to come around and bite you on the ass. And the longer you do that for, the bigger destruction it's going to cause. So having channels to transmute that into, I do a lot of breath work, trying to circulate the energy. You can mentally visualize the life flow. So think of your spine. You've got a little energy flow at the bottom of your spine and the top of your spine into your crown chakra. So you can visualize yourself breathing. When you breathe in, deep inhalation through the nose and out through the mouth, full inhalation, breathe into the belly. Fill the belly up, and then breathe out as well through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. All right, so using that technique and then visualizing yourself sending the energy up the spine into the crown and back down the spine. Visualize yourself, there's like a little bit just in between your spine, there's like a little channel of energy just behind your spine. So visualize the energy flowing up and down your spine as you're breathing. Do that a few times a day. Stop yourself, tap into the breath, be conscious. The breath's going to be your anchor throughout this practice. It's going to be so important. Even just throughout, even if you're not used to using the breath and utilizing that as a tool, just make a mindful note of just tapping in every now and again. Just shift your focus and attention on the breath. Just even that brings you back to the present moment and brings you back conscious, okay? So this is a perfect tool when you do feel the urge. You see a beautiful woman, boom, send your attention straight to the breath and begin to circulate that energy, and then you can put that into any avenue you want, or you can just sit with it. Allow that to nourish you. Allow that beautiful sexual energy to revitalize your system. All right. So secondly, it's definitely getting out in nature, keeping regulated. So grounding yourself is very, very important, because you've got this heightened surge of energy. You need to be mindful of that and doing extra things to ground this energy and bring this back into your body and allow it to circulate as well, rather than just sitting dormant in your sexual organs. Because this is what happens. It'll get built up in your sexual organs, and then that's when you get hyper aroused and you can't really do anything with the energy, because it's that overwhelming. It's when you're waking up with having wet dreams, waking up with eye-ons all the time, and it's running you wild like an animal. Yeah. So in order to transmute that, is you need to be sending the energy up and down the spine and circulating that throughout your body. So yoga's good. Getting out in nature, walking, breath work, sticking your feet on the grass, hot and cold therapy, brilliant. So doing all these practices to help circulate and ground this energy and visualize it as well. I think visualizing for me has been life. It's been a game changer. But actually visualizing the energy, I felt like it's helped so much more because I can actually tap into the life force then and actually start to feel it and work with it and move it and then channel it and direct it because you're the captain. You're the captain of the ship. So where you put that energy, you can't control how this comes in. You can't control the surge of energy that you feel. But what you can control is where you direct that and where you channel it. So yeah, don't deny or suppress that you have these urges still. Don't deny and suppress how intense these urges are. Don't deny and suppress the fact that you are struggling. Don't deny and suppress the fact that you do want to just masturbate right now and you do want to release. Don't deny the fact that you want to do them things. Instead, acknowledge it, accept it, that you're primal, you're always going to have these urges and these desires, they're always going to live within you. But look at it as like a beautiful, it's extra energy now. Now you're aware of it and you're not spilling it all the time and you're getting more control over this energy. You can now then begin to create magic with it. But using them techniques, and you got to do these things daily, be consistent with it, and allowing yourself to have avenues and paths. Maybe start a creative endeavor, something you can really pour yourself into, like anything. Start writing, start creating music, start creating art, digital art. You know, anything just to get them creative, that creative essence alive. Because your sexual energy is your creative energy. So if you think about it, what do you do when you have sex? You create a baby. So that life force is used to create a baby. So you can imagine what you'll be able to do with that life force when you tap into your creative spirit and your creative flow. And it's in every single one of us. And a lot of us men, we suppress it because the creative energy is a lot more feminine. So for us to tap into that, we need to tap into our feminine body and our feminine energy. But when you tap, for me personally, that is the most beautiful state to be in. When you're in like a creative flow and you've got projects you're working on or something you're working on, a project, and you're completely fully immersed in flow state in the moment, that for me is the best. You don't get much better than that. That's what life is all about, and that's what our purpose here on life is all about. We need to tap into that creative essence a little bit more and use semen retention as an amplification for your creative endeavors and your pursuits. And then use the bodily practice, what I've just discussed, your nature, your walking, your hot and cold, your training, to just ground and circulate this energy. Use that, your practice for that. You don't need to be always training for gains all the time and trying to get big and look good and sexy. Yeah, you won't need to. Once you've utilized this energy and you've learned to transmute this, the energy speaks for itself. Women aren't drawn to you because you've got a six pack. The energy. That's all. I mean, some are because the surface level, they can't see past surface level, but they're not the women you want to be drawing in. The women who want to see you at depth, they're not looking at your six pack or your biceps or your arms. They're reading your energy. Women are way more tapped in and intuitive than we are. They're reading your energy, brother. Yeah, they're looking at how you're presenting yourself, how you're carrying. It's just your aura. You don't even need to do anything. It's not necessarily anything you do. It's your energy speaks for itself, and you are going to have a glow about you when you're on semen retention and you're practicing this practice. You're going to have a little spark, a little glow. You're going to be standing out from the rest of the people because you've got this extra energy. So you're going to get more attention. But the same applies with this. Is a beauty. I'm going to finish off on this because it's beautiful. So how do you seduce a woman? Not by going all in and giving yourself to her all of the time. You seduce a woman by slight teasing. You give her a little bit, pull back. And it's not like in the avoidant type, but seduction needs to be a bit playful. You've got to give them a little bit and then, yeah, get back in your energy and in your space. Give them a little bit, get back in your energy and in your space. And reciprocate that. Have that little dance. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I'm telling you this is because you can do the same with your business and with money. Tease it. Don't, if you're going all in and super hyper focused on achieving and wanting more and getting more and more and putting more hours in and more grind, you're basically saying like, I want this so bad. So you're saying that I'm at lack. If you put a little bit and then disappear for a bit, put a little bit of work in, disappear a bit, let yourself charge, let yourself ground, get back in your energy. If you keep teasing the work and teasing things will just clap and flow naturally because that's the energy, that's the creative energy. Money wants to be seduced. Success wants to be seduced. This desire is ridden by seduction. It's because it's sexual creative energy, like your creative pursuits. These will unfold. If you are a creative already, you'll understand this. If not, how the creative process normally works is you'll get a spark of energy and motivation, boom, boom, you'll create something that'll go, and then you may not create something for a few days, maybe weeks, maybe months, and you come back and get another surge. So it's like in and out, it's them bursts of energy. And this is kind of how we want to be looking at life. It's like boom and then rest, ground yourself. Don't be all in at once and everything. You just like, yeah, you're basically like mentally ejaculating everywhere. You're just ejaculating everywhere because you're just giving everyone your energy at any given moment. Protect that. Yeah, give someone a little bit of something, pull away. And it's not because you're being cold or you're trying to play any games. It's just that you're protecting your energy. You know your limits and your boundaries now. And you're trying to protect this sacred life force and trying to transmute that into positive things. So yeah, I've done some good little practices there, and there's things to be mindful of on this journey, because there's traps that I've fell down, and if I can educate you and prevent you from falling down the same traps that I have, then brilliant. I'm blessed to be able to do that. So yeah, keep up on your practices. Take on board what I've just said. Use your sanity to transmute it. Acknowledge it. Don't suppress it. Yeah, just have fun with this shit, man. Just have fun with this shit. Everything else will come to you. Once again, as long as you're putting your effort in and you're seducing life, everything will come to you. The woman, the money, the success, the peace, the love, the joy, the community. It's all going to come to you. You just got to keep doing the work and stay locked in, fellas. All right, peace, earth ones.